On the wild African continent, a handsome Korean idol is surprisingly digging a well. Soon, this drilling video was uploaded online. Such an idol, combining good looks, wealth, and kindness, naturally enjoys high popularity in Korea. Oh Han-byul is driving, having just listened to a female idol express her admiration for Gong Tae-sung on the radio, which she dismissively turns off. She alone knows what Gong Tae-sung is really like. As the head of the publicity department at an entertainment company, her job is to package each artist perfectly, handle all negative press and scandals, and exaggerate their skills to build admirable public personas. Even if an artist speaks only a little foreign language, she would list it as fluency. Oh Han-byul goes to great lengths to protect her artists. However, after work, she prefers not to receive any calls from the company. One day, while on a blind date, a reporter calls about a dating photo of one of her company's artists. It's an emergency, and Oh Han-byul busily manages the situation, clarifying to major website reporters that the artists are just senior and junior colleagues. After resolving the crisis, she returns home late at night, frustrated and too busy to date herself. The next day, Oh Han-byul meets a reporter friend for lunch, where they both lament the pains of their jobs. They fear that even significant life events might be interrupted by work calls. After lunch, they take a walk and see Gong Tae-sung's face everywhere, indicating his popularity. Recalling an incident at the airport where she was knocked down by fervent fans, Gong Tae-sung had come to her aid like a gentle prince. Meanwhile, having spent a year in Africa, Gong Tae-sung is about to return to Korea. Asked whom he most wants to see, he thinks of Oh Han-byul and asks a staff member to translate a letter for his friends in Africa, praising how perfect and kind he is. If Oh Han-byul heard this, she would certainly scoff. Indeed, Oh Han-byul is currently watching online articles praising Gong Tae-sung's trip to Africa. Considering Gong Tae-sung's impending return, she plans to change jobs and ends her thoughts with a sad emoji. The next day, Oh Han-byul and her colleagues Kang Yoo-sung and Park Ho-young went for a medical checkup. They happened to meet a senior who had left the company. As the senior walked into the examination room with them, he suddenly received a call from a TV station. He immediately abandoned the checkup to return to work. Next, it was Kang Yoo-sung's turn. His phone rang with a call from a subordinate. It turned out that there was an issue with the artist Baek Da-hae, and he too had to skip the checkup. Oh Han-byul and Park Ho-young's checkups went smoothly until the final stage. Suddenly, Park Ho-young's phone in her pocket rang, and she looked terrified. Oh Han-byul gestured to her not to answer. While Park Ho-young hesitated, Oh Han-byul's phone also rang. It was about the idol couple whose dating had ruined her blind date. They had been photographed again. To make matters worse, Park Ho-young informed her that the male idol was also dating 2 other women, complicating the situation with potential infidelity. Despite the secrecy needed around the infidelity, the recent dating photos meant denying it would only lead to mockery and a drop in popularity. Oh Han-byul had to contact the female artist's management to discuss how to gracefully acknowledge the relationship. After sending an email, Park Ho-young had already changed clothes and was ready to manage the male idol's issue, leaving Oh Han-byul with good wishes to endure the checkup till the end. Oh Han-byul felt miserable and wished she could just sleep through any potential calls. As the workday neared its end, other colleagues at the entertainment company prayed that no major issue would arise. However, contrary to their hopes, a newcomer stumbled upon major news. Someone had leaked that Gong Tae-sung was a violent volunteer in Africa. Hearing this while still at the hospital, Oh Han-byul, in her patient gown, rushed back to the company. Her colleagues had already confirmed with Gong Tae-sung's side that it was a misunderstanding from a football game, misreported as violence. What followed was a lengthy and massive clarification effort. After making calls to all the reporters for clarification, everyone in the office was exhausted and collapsed at their desks. Back home, Oh Han-byul had a drink and noticed a photo in the trash can. It was a picture she had found under the couch earlier in the day, featuring herself with Gong Tae-sung. She took out her phone and noted the date of Gong Tae-sung's return to the country in her memo. Her mind involuntarily went back to that day at the airport, when Gong Tae-sung had whispered in her ear, "Wait for me to come back." She couldn't describe her feelings, only noting how quickly time had passed. It had already been a year. During a break at work, Oh Han-byul went to the pantry. Just as she turned around with a cup of water, she was startled to find Gong Tae-sung standing behind her. He whispered again, Feeling good? At the moment, Oh Han-byul was too shocked to respond. But later, whenever she recalled his words, she felt greatly annoyed. Gong Tae-sung's troubling behavior started the next day. He spent the entire day in Oh Han-byul's office with nothing to do, solely to harass her. Gong Tae-sung constantly hovered around Oh Han-byul, picking faults and accusing her of work mistakes. He relentlessly brought up an incident from 6 years ago that still haunted him. At that time, Oh Han-byul, a newcomer in the workplace, accidentally omitted many words in a headline about Gong Tae-sung, twisting its meaning to imply he was impotent. The news quickly topped online trends, causing chaos in the office as they rushed to clarify the mistake to reporters. That day, an enraged Gong Tae-sung stormed into the company. Seeing the panicked Oh Han-byul, he knew she was the culprit. Gong Tae-sung followed Oh Han-byul to the restroom to prove his potency by starting to undress. This scene led other colleagues to intervene and forcefully remove him. From this incident, deep resentment formed between Gong Tae-sung and Oh Han-byul. Oh Han-byul wished Gong Tae-sung would return to Africa so he would stop bothering her. However, Kang Yoo-sung reminded her that Gong Tae-sung had saved her job 6 years ago. Due to the news error, the entertainment company wanted to fire Oh Han-byul, but Gong Tae-sung argued with the president to keep her. His intention wasn't to forgive her but to keep her around to torment slowly. Kang Yoo-sung's expression suggested this was a twisted form of colleague affection, which Oh Han-byul dared not agree with. At night, Gong Tae-sung, while eating a late snack and watching TV, casually read a new drama script. He called Oh Han-byul late at night to ask why she wanted him to star in a drama called World of Stars. Oh Han-byul, curious, hung up irritably. Gong Tae-sung laughed, realizing the script mirrored their story. He decided to satisfy Oh Han-byul's curiosity, potentially bringing more intense surprises. After confirming his role as the male lead, the female lead was confirmed to be Baek Da-hai, a fan of Gong Tae-sung, who danced excitedly at home. Oh Han-byul then understood that the biggest winner of this struggle was Kang Yoo-sung, who had worked hard to secure top resources for Baek Da-hai. Gong Tae-sung found the script at home because Kang Yoo-sung had placed scripts everywhere. One day, while driving, Oh Han-byul saw that Gong Tae-sung's billboard had been hit. It turned out Gong Tae-sung's manager, unhappy with their relationship, had vented this way. Kang Yoo-sung realized the manager was no longer suitable to work with Gong Tae-sung and began looking for a new one privately. Meanwhile, in the company corridor, Gong Tae-sung confronted Oh Han-byul. He questioned why she had never reached out to him while he was in Africa. Even during a video call with the president, he hoped Oh Han-byul would notice him in the background, but she ignored him completely. Before the workday ended, major news broke out online. The headline featured a photo discarded by Oh Han-byul, depicting Gong Tae-sung before his debut. The two were a couple in college, adding a layer of mystery to their relationship. Colleagues speculated that their apparent discord was just a facade, and they were secretly dating. When Oh Han-byul saw the news at her desk, she screamed and contacted the website to have it removed. She appeared far from being in love, finding any connection with Gong Tae-sung utterly irritating. During this time, the male artists in the company were so engrossed in their roles as terminally ill characters that they became depressed and had to halt all activities. Despite the mental toll, the male artist did not regret his acting career, considering it his happiest time. Hearing about his condition, the president was furious. Without the artist working, how could the company make money? Fortunately, another artist, Gong Tae-sung, was in a very stable condition. Using this situation, the president opportunistically ordered everyone in the company to undergo a stress test, organized by Oh Han-byul. Speaking of Gong Tae-sung's rise to fame, it was the president who discovered him. He was so impressed at their first meeting that he immediately offered his business card, although Gong Tae-sung already had many from other agencies. To persuade him, the president had to follow him around daily, nearly causing Gong Tae-sung to call the police. The story of how the president convinced Gong Tae-sung to enter the entertainment industry remains a business secret. Elsewhere, when Gong Tae-sung received the stress test notification, knowing it was arranged by Oh Han-byul, he outright refused. Although frustrated, Oh Han-byul had no choice but to repeatedly call Gong Tae-sung, who deliberately hung up each time. Faced with the president's pressure and Gong Tae-sung's resistance, Oh Han-byul felt her own stress levels peak. To relax, she decided to watch a movie, but was startled when Gong Tae-sung suddenly appeared next to her, revealing it was his secret spot and asking her not to come to this cinema again. Unable to tolerate it anymore, Oh Han-byul knew Gong Tae-sung was upset because he thought she was the reason he was sent to Africa. After the movie, she pulled Gong Tae-sung aside to resolve the issue once and for all tonight. Two people visited a pub to find a witness from an incident that happened last year. Gong Tae-sung, always looking sharp, attended an event as usual. The day before, he had chatted with a friend who expressed a desire to do charity work in Africa. Although uninterested, the idea lingered in Gong Tae-sung's subconscious. Backstage at the event, after meeting Oh Han-byul, he casually asked if charity work in Africa was tough. Oh Han-byul mocked him, saying his face didn't look charitable at all. Angered, Gong Tae-sung shouted, "I'll go to Africa!" Coincidentally, a door opened in front of him, revealing flashing cameras. All journalists heard him declare his intent to go to Africa, leaving both Gong Tae-sung and Oh Han-byul unsure of what to do next. Thus, his statement became a reality. The next day, Gong Tae-sung saw a news piece about famous actress Yoon Si-woo reconciling with a French director. Feeling unwell, he answered a call from Oh Han-byul, who urged him to hurry up and complete a stress test. She teased that delaying might mean he's afraid of showing no stress at all. Gong Tae-sung countered that his stress was surely greater than Oh Han-byul's. They heatedly agreed that if Gong Tae-sung's stress results were higher, Oh Han-byul would voluntarily cut her salary for 3 months. At Gong Tae-sung's fan meeting the next day, Oh Han-byul accidentally found his completed stress test in his new manager's backpack and discovered his stress level was the maximum 100 points. Surprised, she observed Gong Tae-sung interacting with fans, his exhaustion barely concealed. Considering the company's policy that male artists with a score of 90 must be hospitalized, Gong Tae-sung, scoring 100, must be feeling terrible. Oh Han-byul watched him closely. As he stood up, his gaze was vacant, and he nearly fell. Oh Han-byul rushed to help Gong Tae-sung but tripped over a step and ended up sliding on her knees, embracing his legs. The crew was shocked, and soon, "sliding woman" became a trending topic online. Gong Tae-sung repeatedly watched the embarrassing moment, finding it the highlight of his year. For the main character, Oh Han-byul, it was a sleepless night. Not only had she embarrassed herself in front of Gong Tae-sung, but she also had to accept the loss of 3 months' salary. Fortunately, her face wasn't shown in the video. Netizens thought she was just a crazy fan, but those who knew Oh Han-byul recognized her immediately. The day after the incident, at a company meeting, the president couldn't resist joking about Oh Han-byul's viral sliding video on YouTube. Oh Han-byul suggested he might as well sell her to make money. Although she lost the bet, Oh Han-byul was still concerned about Gong Tae-sung's high stress levels. She knew that stress indicators could change with one's emotional state. Linking this to recent news about Yoon Si-woo online, Oh Han-byul speculated that her relationship with Gong Tae-sung might be the cause of his increased stress. Kang Yoo-sung understood Oh Han-byul's concerns and agreed to persuade Gong Tae-sung to seek counseling. He also informed Oh Han-byul that Gong Tae-sung's close friend Kwon Myung-hee had recently returned to his home, which might improve his mood. Indeed, Gong Tae-sung was very happy to see Kwon Myung-hee, who immediately cooked a meal for him, although the taste was hard for Gong Tae-sung to compliment. The next day, the film crew for Star's World began shooting. On the first day, Gong Tae-sung, the main star, wanted to assert his status by having his new manager buy drinks for the crew. However, to save money, the new manager bought discounted beverages, which infuriated Gong Tae-sung. Kang Yoo-sung, observing that his former subordinate, now Gong Tae-sung's new manager, lacked foresight, had called before his trip to remind him to get along well with Gong Tae-sung without being overly attentive. Yet the honest and enthusiastic new manager ended up washing Gong Tae-sung's underwear and hanging it on the windshield wipers of the van for all to see, leaving Gong Tae-sung speechless and furiously demanding the clothes be taken down, cursing profusely in the process. Gong Tae-sung, feeling overwhelmed, immediately called Kang Yoo-sung, claiming he was about to go insane and accusing his new manager of being an anti-fan. With Kang Yoo-sung away, he asked Oh Han-byul to visit the set to smooth things over between Gong Tae-sung and the new manager and to salvage Gong Tae-sung's reputation. Hearing about the new manager's antics, Oh Han-byul struggled to contain her laughter, feeling quite amused. However, after laughing, she returned to her duties. organizing a massive purchase of products endorsed by Gong Tae-sung from a supermarket. That night, a row of support vehicles arrived at the set. Oh Han-byul distributed food to the crew, asking them to take good care of Gong Tae-sung. Initially still upset, Gong Tae-sung's mood brightened upon seeing Oh Han-byul, and his anger dissipated instantly, especially after receiving a snack box she had specially prepared for him. He willingly opened the door and returned to the set. After shooting a scene, Gong Tae-sung stuck close to Oh Han-byul at the coffee cart. Just then, an elderly couple arrived, and Gong Tae-sung kindly made yuzu tea for them, personally handing it to them. Although Oh Han-byul knew he often liked to maintain a certain image, the tenderness in Gong Tae-sung's eyes seemed genuine. Unfortunately, shortly after the couple walked away, the grandfather clutched his chest and collapsed. Chaos erupted suddenly around them. Amidst the confusion, the new manager rushed out and asked Gong Tae-sung to take the emergency medical kit from his backpack to assist the elderly man. Thanks to the new manager's efforts, the man was ultimately out of danger. On the way home that evening, Gong Tae-sung's view of the manager began to change. Although he thought the manager was both silly and clueless, he recognized him as a kind-hearted person. Puzzled, Gong Tae-sung asked why he carried the medical kit. The manager replied that he was worried Gong Tae-sung might collapse from exhaustion during filming. This made Gong Tae-sung laugh, touched by the manager's concern. The next day, he called Kang Yu-sung and agreed to keep the manager by his side. During this business trip, Kang Yu-sung had also taken the time to meet with Yoon Si-woo, the person causing Gong Tae-sung stress. Soon it was payday. Oh Han-byul received her salary and cheered. She looked at a poster of Gong Tae-sung on the wall and noticed he hadn't requested to deduct her pay. She remembered the kind-hearted devil inside him. Reflecting on a past event, Oh Han-byul recalled how Gong Tae-sung had covered for her, allowing her to escape while he distracted everyone with his cuteness. At that moment, the company lawyer approached Oh Han-byul to confirm if she was dating Gong Tae-sung. He had overheard colleagues whispering about their secret relationship. After she denied it, both laughed in relief. Days before, the lawyer had watched Oh Han-byul's viral sliding video multiple times, finding her incredibly adorable. Gong Tae-sung, who saw them looking at each other, felt jealous. He confidently approached Do Soo-hyuk and told him he was also a law graduate and his senior. Upon hearing this, Do Soo-hyuk greeted him politely. Oh Han-byul internally scoffed, knowing Gong Tae-sung had only acted in a legal drama before. Before leaving, Gong Tae-sung whispered to Oh Han-byul that if she didn't want her salary cut next month, she should report to his set. With no choice, Oh Han-byul delegated her other tasks to colleagues and prepared to go to the set. Her colleagues excitedly discussed the last snack box she sent, which was very much to Gong Tae-sung's taste. At the set, although Oh Han-byul was physically present, she was still very busy, handling her tasks on her laptop and phone without sparing Gong Tae-sung a glance. Despite his anticipation, whenever Gong Tae-sung finished filming impressive scenes, Oh Han-byul either turned her back or was buried in typing, showing only the top of her head. Finally, after a rain-soaked melodramatic scene, Gong Tae-sung looked up only to see Oh Han-byul still on the phone. He walked straight up to Oh Han-byul and told her to go back to the office if she had to work. Gong Tae-sung wanted Oh Han-byul to pay more attention to him on set. However, Oh Han-byul agreed immediately and left, continuing her phone call without looking back. Gong Tae-sung felt hurt by this. After leaving the set, Oh Han-byul went straight to Do Soo-hyuk and asked for his help with a DUI issue involving a company artist. Normally punctual in leaving work, Do Soo-hyuk stayed late to meet with Oh Han-byul, a move that even his subordinates sensed as romantic. The next day, Gong Tae-sung continued filming. It was finally Baek Da-hye's turn to act with him. As a superfan, Baek Da-hye was thrilled, but Gong Tae-sung was not in a good mood because Oh Han-byul did not come, which frustrated him greatly. Upon returning to the office, Oh Han-byul faced a challenging issue. A scandal had leaked online, and she needed to quash the rumors before they spread. One rumor claimed Gong Tae-sung liked to visit nightclubs and had a bad odor. Kang Yu-sung called Gong Tae-sung to discuss the gossip. Gong Tae-sung found it absurd, considering himself a homebody with no time for nightclubs, though he was unsure about the odor and decided to wash his hair. After realizing Do Soo-hyuk's interest in Oh Han-byul, Gong Tae-sung had Byun Jong-yeol investigate him. The investigation revealed that Do Soo-hyuk was a high-quality man. At that moment, Gong Tae-sung's doorbell rang, and to his surprise, it was Do Soo-hyuk, his new neighbor, coming to give him rice cakes. That day, Oh Han-byul returned to her university to give a lecture. Afterward, she chatted with a professor who showed her an old yearbook with a cover photo of her and Gong Tae-sung. This photo, which had been Oh Han-byul's nightmare, sparked rumors that the two were dating, causing her to be harassed by Gong Tae-sung's fans, affecting her normal life. The professor mentioned that after the rumors started, Gong Tae-sung had paid to have that issue of the yearbook pulped and promised to return for photo shoots every year, keeping his promise even after becoming a superstar. This touched Oh Han-byul, who had thought Gong Tae-sung was selfish, but realized he had made sacrifices for her. A journalist friend, after hearing Oh Han-byul's anonymous story, calmly analyzed that the person must like Oh Han-byul. However, considering Gong Tae-sung's past actions, Oh Han-byul found it hard to agree. Compared to Oh Han-byul's irritability, Jo Ki-bum recently had a good thing happen. A newly debuted artist had been showing her affection diligently, and Jo Ki-bum was indulging in his pursuit. However, after one of his confessions, she noticed her colleagues were also looking at their phones, showing the same delighted expressions. Jo Ki-bum then realized that he had been flattering all the news editors as well. She immediately dispelled this illusion of romance. After speaking with Jo Ki-bum, Oh Han-byul returned to the company and thanked Gong Tae-sung for handling the school magazine issue in the past. This thanks instantly cheered up Gong Tae-sung. Oh Han-byul's task that day was to help Gong Tae-sung fill out a questionnaire for an overseas magazine, which included some personal questions that Oh Han-byul could not answer. She went backstage to ask Gong Tae-sung in person. Tired from an overnight shoot, Gong Tae-sung listened groggily to Oh Han-byul's questions. Instead of answering, he expressed a wish for Oh Han-byul to always stay by his side and then fell asleep on her shoulder. Oh Han-byul protected Gong Tae-sung from falling, her face showing surprise. She felt confused and quickly left the makeup room. The next day, another artist, Jang Seok-woo, caused a scandal. Upon seeing the photos taken by reporters, which clearly suggested romance, Oh Han-byul screamed in frustration. She could not deny it and made calls to various newspapers, admitting that the two had just started a relationship. The last time Oh Han-byul handled a romance for Jang Seok-woo, it ended in a failed blind date. Before long, that girlfriend had broken up, and he had a new girlfriend. His scandal also led to the cancellation of his movie and advertising deals. Oh Han-byul and her colleague Park Ho-young were helpless and wished they could send him back to the military. Despite this, all of Jang Seok-woo's activities were already canceled. Park Ho-young had to quickly find other artists in the company to take over the activities to avoid losing resources to other companies. After work, Oh Han-byul and Park Ho-young went to a restaurant to vent about their daily troubles. Park Ho-young shared a story from years ago about meeting a man who turned out to be a con artist, confirmed by police. After telling the story, Park Ho-young asked Oh Han-byul if she had ever had feelings for someone. Oh Han-byul thought about it. Her heart had last raced the day before when Gong Tae-sung leaned on her shoulder. Still, she shook her head, claiming she had never met someone she liked. That night, Gong Tae-sung was at home, unable to sleep. In the elevator, he had run into Do Soo-hyuk, who intentionally mentioned that he had just been with Oh Han-byul. This comment made the sleepy Gong Tae-sung instantly widen his eyes, filled with thoughts about the relationship between Oh Han-byul and Do Soo-hyuk, leaving him sleepless deep into the night. The next day, unexpectedly, a scandal involving Gong Tae-sung broke out. It turned out that Baek Da-hye, the lead actress of a drama, had posted a photo of herself eating on social media. Observant netizens noticed the reflection in her bowl and identified the person sitting opposite her as Gong Tae-sung. Instantly, news of Baek Da-hye and Gong Tae-sung dating in private surfaced. Oh Han-byul felt oddly upset and somewhat angry. Despite her bad mood, she had to address the issue. She called Gong Tae-sung, angrily asking if he was dating Baek Da-hye. Gong Tae-sung immediately denied it on the other end of the call. Meanwhile, the office gossip group was buzzing again, discussing Oh Han-byul's tone when verifying the rumor. Her assertive questioning sounded just like a girlfriend. That day, the launch event for Star's World was held as scheduled, featuring Gong Tae-sung and Baek Da-hye. During the event, The host asked Gong Tae-sung about being voted the most desirable male artist by women, and what his ideal type was. After thinking it over, Gong Tae-sung said he preferred a partner like a friend, someone he could share common topics with and joke around. As soon as he finished speaking, the office gossip squad started buzzing again, exchanging glances, sure that he was referring to Oh Han-byul. After the event, Gong Tae-sung left in his car. Looking at the questionnaire Oh Han-byul had helped him fill out, he saw the last question about the most romantic moment in life. He recalled moments shared with Oh Han-byul, their graduation, watching his debut video together, the first time he won Best Actor looking at Oh Han-byul, and at the airport heading to Africa, seeing her reluctant face hidden among the crowd. All these unforgettable moments in Gong Tae-sung's life had Oh Han-byul by his side. Thinking about this made Gong Tae-sung suddenly widen his eyes, remembering the words he had said to Oh Han-byul backstage in a half-dream state about staying by his side. Meanwhile, his driving manager received a call from his girlfriend, causing Gong Tae-sung to exclaim in frustration, why even his manager had a girlfriend. The manager just laughed and explained that being in love was about curiosity, wanting to know what the other person was doing every day. This made Gong Tae-sung ponder. He went home and repeatedly checked Oh Han-byul's chat messages and profile picture, his mind filled with curiosity about her. The next day, management gathered to watch the premiere of Star's World. Gong Tae-sung, claiming his home TV was broken, joined them at the office. Throughout, he kept an eye on Oh Han-byul to see if she was moved by his on-screen character. However, Oh Han-byul's face remained expressionless. Although she seemed indifferent, her heart was tumultuous. The affectionate Gong Tae-sung on the screen reminded her of the day in the makeup room when he expressed his hope for her to stay by his side. In fact, Oh Han-byul had once had feelings for him, accompanying him on set and offering her shoulder when he was tired. At night, Oh Han-byul went home and giggled as she looked at Gong Tae-sung's profile picture. But everything was halted due to a scandal. Gong Tae-sung was secretly dating a female co-star, which was confirmed by Oh Han-byul herself. She had to issue the announcement, an act that was extremely cruel for her, as she deeply loved Gong Tae-sung. After releasing the news, Oh Han-byul cried bitterly. Right after the premiere, Oh Han-byul went to the rooftop to speak with reporters. Gong Tae-sung followed her and earnestly asked for her thoughts on the premiere. Oh Han-byul reviewed the performances of the actors in the drama. But when Gong Tae-sung seriously asked about his own performance, although she was indeed moved by his on-screen persona, she was reluctant to praise him sincerely. Hearing her insincere compliments, Gong Tae-sung stopped her by grabbing her hand, turned his head with a smug look. The next day, the office gossip squad watched Gong Tae-sung's new drama and found him very handsome. They suddenly realized that both Gong Tae-sung and Oh Han-byul were absent from the office and exchanged knowing smiles. In fact, they were together but at a cemetery, commemorating the birthday of their late friend, Lee Yoon-woo. Meanwhile, Park Ho-young discovered a newcomer, Kang Si-deok, from a soup restaurant. Kang Si-deok was lucky as Park Ho-young took him to visit the set of Star's World for the first time and landed him a role. Although Kang Si-deok had never acted before, he looked very handsome in front of the camera. His private life was also very clean, making him a perfect artist, which greatly pleased the president, who praised Park Ho-young, suggesting that with more training, Kang Si-deok could be the next Gong Tae-sung. Oh Han-byul visited the shooting site, greeted male colleagues with hugs, and was seen arm in arm with Kang Yoo-sung, which infuriated Gong Tae-sung, who was secretly watching from the nanny car. Immediately, Gong Tae-sung called Kang Yoo-sung, while watching an agent walk towards Oh Han-byul and quickly called him back, slightly annoyed, asking why there were so many men around Oh Han-byul. He went over, pulled Kang Yoo-sung away, and instructed him only to be arm in arm with himself from now on. Kang Yoo-sung immediately understood Gong Tae-sung's intentions. After work, Gong Tae-sung received a package from a friend in Africa at home. The simple trinkets inside were filled with genuine affection. Gong Tae-sung packed the gifts and headed to the set. Before leaving, Kwon Young-hee handed him a red envelope she claimed to have found on the ground. Without much thought, Gong Tae-sung stuffed it into his backpack. Watching him leave, Kwon Young-hee's expression changed. She immediately changed into a fancy outfit and found Yoon Si-woo, who was shopping, and opposed her in everything. After arriving at the set today, Gong Tae-sung asked his agent if he had ever confessed to a girl. The agent quickly realized that Gong Tae-sung was considering confessing to Oh Han-byul. Gong Tae-sung naturally admitted this, and then realized he had spoken aloud, asking the agent to keep it a secret. Understanding clearly, the agent and Gong Tae-sung then began to explore various confession methods online. For instance, helping a girl tie her shoelaces, but Oh Han-byul only wears sandals or slippers every day, which have no laces. Finally, when she wore sneakers, Gong Tae-sung saw his chance. He confidently approached Oh Han-byul and knelt down in front of her, but she withdrew her foot, thinking he was up to his usual pranks. Gong Tae-sung found another opportunity and brought Oh Han-byul a coffee, but she failed to see the romantic gesture, only suspecting that Gong Tae-sung was teasing her again. Although Oh Han-byul didn't realize Gong Tae-sung's confessions of love, she did notice Park Ho-young's feelings. It turned out Park Ho-young had a crush on Kang Yoo-sung, who was as clueless in love as Oh Han-byul. After Kang Si-deok became famous through a TV drama, he was recognized on the street, but he was not yet adept at refusing fans' requests. One evening, under the encouragement of an older fan, he drank a cup of rice wine, which made him drunk enough to mistake the park for his dorm and start undressing to sleep. Fortunately, before he fell asleep, Park Ho-young called him, sensing something was off in his tone, and immediately went to the park to take him away. Although Park Ho-young quickly found Kang Si-deok, photos of him undressing in public had already been taken and uploaded online, attracting lots of negative comments. With no other options, Park Ho-young sought Oh Han-byul's help. Just about to sleep, Oh Han-byul had to get up and handle Kang Si-deok's PR emergency all night. She tracked his movements that night, posted videos of him being coerced into drinking by the fan and tidying up chairs and trash along the way. Thanks to her efforts, Kang Si-deok's reputation improved. During work hours, Park Ho-young brought Kang Si-deok to apologize. Oh Han-byul scolded him and then had him write a handwritten letter of reflection. After handling the trouble, a worn-out Oh Han-byul stood in the pantry while Gong Tae-sung approached slowly with the confession letter he had written all night. Just then, Oh Han-byul answered a call from a journalist friend who mentioned that Kang Si-deok's handwritten letter seemed very sincere. Oh Han-byul angrily declared her hatred for handwritten letters, wishing she could tear the inventor of handwritten letters into 1,000 pieces. Hearing this, Gong Tae-sung quickly hid the confession letter behind his back, and his plan to confess was thwarted again. Due to Oh Han-byul's successful intervention, Kang Si-deok's image was not only salvaged, but he also received an offer for an underwear advertisement. Taking advantage of the good atmosphere in the company, Do Soo-hyuk invited Oh Han-byul and her entire PR team to his housewarming party. Next door, Gong Tae-sung's agent also received an invitation. Knowing that Oh Han-byul was with Do Soo-hyuk, Gong Tae-sung spent the entire night restless and anxious. In his agitation, he spotted the agent's new air purifier and decided to use giving a gift as a pretext to enter Do Soo-hyuk's home. Do Soo-hyuk was helpless about Gong Tae-sung's uninvited presence, but couldn't complain in front of everyone. After dinner, Do Soo-hyuk brought out a board game, and Gong Tae-sung started playing with colleagues. Unbeknownst to them, Do Soo-hyuk had already made his move and confessed to Oh Han-byul. Seeing her surprised face, Do Soo-hyuk hoped Oh Han-byul would consider his feelings and respond. After several failed confessions, Gong Tae-sung felt discouraged. He confided in Kang Yoo-sung about his secret crush on Oh Han-byul. Kang Yoo-sung was not surprised, as he had already noticed. He encouraged Gong Tae-sung to be more direct, noting Oh Han-byul's obliviousness to romance, which might hinder the expression of his feelings. Kang Yoo-sung also mentioned that Do Soo-hyuk had confessed his feelings to Oh Han-byul. Hearing this, Gong Tae-sung's eyes widened. He quickly changed his clothes, eager to see Oh Han-byul. At that moment, Kang Yoo-sung arranged for Oh Han-byul to deliver a script to Gong Tae-sung. Driven by a sense of urgency, Gong Tae-sung finally gathered the courage to confess. But as soon as he said, "I like you," Oh Han-byul screamed and ran away. Soon after, Gong Tae-sung's doorbell rang again. Hoping it was Oh Han-byul returning, he happily opened the door, only to find Yoon Si-woo standing there. She hugged him immediately, but Gong Tae-sung pushed her away and coldly shut the door. On her way home, Yoon Si-woo told Kang Yoo-sung that she had visited Gong Tae-sung. Kang Yoo-sung guessed Gong Tae-sung's reaction without thinking and blamed Yoon Si-woo's haste. Because of Yoon Si-woo's visit, Gong Tae-sung developed a fever from the stress that night. In his sleep, he envisioned himself standing by a red carpet that Yoon Si-woo had walked on, looking at his beautiful mother. However, Yoon Si-woo was only focused on the distance and the lights, ignoring Gong Tae-sung, who fell in the crowd. Even when Gong Tae-sung's only family member died, he sought help from Yoon Si-woo, who was on the award stage, basking in the glory. Ironically, in the award-winning movie, Yoon Si-woo played a mother who deeply loves her child. Later, Gong Tae-sung went to the cinema alone to watch this movie. As he saw Yoon Si-woo on the screen, crying and trying to save her child, he too shed tears. But his expression was stubbornly scornful and angry, because he, as a real child, had never felt such love. After the movie, Gong Tae-sung noticed a girl crying harder than him in the back row, not because of the movie, but because of her academic setbacks and the prospect of repeating a year. This encounter made Gong Tae-sung remember the girl, who he later found out was named Oh Han-byul in a university open class. This nightmare finally ended with Oh Han-byul's face